Hello, everyone. Just jamming to a song called Creators from Paul Isaac featuring Tubby Love. It's called Creators, and it's a great song to listen to just to get you in the mood about moving your body, but just also listening to your body and protecting the earth. So Creators by Paul Isaac. So welcome. My name is Mo. I am Mo of More Canna Care. More Canna Care is a personal guidance service that I provide as a dietitian and a certified holistic cannabis educator to guide you to the lowest effective dose and products, vetted products that are safe. So the Grow More Canna program started because I felt in the last 3 years that I needed to understand the plant better, and what better way to do that is than to grow. So 3 years ago, right, kind of when COVID was hitting, I felt it was a great way to kind of connect with the nature of the plant and start to learn. So my first 2 years, my product, my grow was a very beginner stage. I started with a clone the first year, and then the second year I did seeds. So this is my third year growing. So trust me, though, that anybody can do it, and you can do it too, with just the Colorado Sun cycle and some basic programming that I'm going to talk about today. So welcome, everyone. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you can learn more. All right, let's see. I am not, whoops. Of course, that counts. So you can grow. So growing, like I said, I'm a beginner grower, long time user of the plant, knowing its value, but never grew. And so many people do. And so you can too, as a curious and courageous new grower. You can start just by using a any pot that you can find. My goal here is entry level, affordable, so that this is an accessible plant to everyone, and it always has been. And we do not need to purchase expensive products to get the value of the plant. So if you're curious and courageous and want to be a new grower, join us. I also identify that you can grow if you're an existing gardener and know a lot about gardening. There's lots and lots of great gardeners out there. Just add it to your current plan. Put it right in with the tomatoes, right in with the others, and you'll see that this herb can benefit you throughout the year by putting it in food, creating an oil that you can put on food, or even further, create medicine or even salves for your skin or aches and pains. And I do a workshop with that too throughout the year once we have the bulk of our grow. So that's nice. Definitely natural medicine plant gardeners already know the benefits of this, but with prohibition, it is held it out of the natural medicine gardeners toolkit. And so now it's being re-added back in, which is wonderful. And if you're a current cannabis user and really needing to look at affordability in your natural medicine choices, this is a great way to cut costs. You can really yield, like with one plant, you can get of course, the more you know, the better you'll grow, but it doesn't mean that you can't yield. So current cannabis users, if you want to cut your costs, just give it a try, right? You can always supplement if you're in an accessible state. And have access to dispensary high grade cannabis. Of course, there's pros and cons to dispensary cannabis, and the pro for us growing is that we can control what goes in and to our plants. But our yield can be anywhere from like an ounce, which is like still great, all the way up to several ounces per plant, and we'll talk about how many plants you can have. And also, if you are a medical cannabis patient, this is a great way to personalize the flower that you get, especially in Denver. Not every county in the state of Colorado allows cultivation, so you do have to check. But you can grow up to 6, 3 flowering, 3 vegetative, but you can mix your cycles. And you can do a variety of different plants to, meet the condition that you're looking for. So many, often medical cannabis patients use a day product and then an evening product. And that's very well the way that you should be doing it because of the variety of effects that you can get from different plants. So it is really good to be able to tailor. So save. My goal here is affordability in cannabis and accessibility, right? Even though dispensary grows are top notch, there's some challenges there. It is mass produced. It's not always organic. It's usually very, very high THC, maybe more than you are looking for. And there's ways to kind of, reduce that. But they do put out great products, but you can too. This has been grown from the beginning of time. And so don't be discouraged or think that you're not a potential grower, because it is a weed, jokingly, right? But it doesn't need much. It's naturally grown in the wild. It has been from the beginning of time. So all of these different variables are for just your maximum yield or all these other variables. But just to get a yield, you can do it with just basic grow practices, just like you would with a tomato. So cost of supplies, of course, any kind of grow medium and grow containers. So you can use what you existingly have. You can always go out and buy new products if you think that they're of value. But when I started a couple years ago, we had just used these kind of tote buckets. And my husband created this kind of grate to allow for really good drainage, because cannabis plants need really good drainage. But we just made this, took a big bin because we wanted a lot of soil and room for them to grow, and created like almost like a trough at the bottom with this rack to allow for that drainage. So we were just kind of Home Depoting, making it ourselves until I found a product that was, they're called fabric pots, that is affordable and easier to move around. Once we put the dirt in these big containers, it was difficult to move. And so that is a variable that you want to consider, is when you go to move them. If you need to be able to move them on your own. And so when I put a whole bunch of soil on that, I couldn't budge them. So it can be very cost effective with supplies that you maybe already have for the gardening, or we're not going top notch here. My goal is affordability and accessibility. So our goal is to use what you have, find it from the ARCs and Goodwills, or at low, cost, just to get you to a yield. So like I said, you can approximately get about 1 to 3 minimum average more, if you're getting, real good at it. Or it depends. Some strains that you grow aren't big producers. And then others, can be if you really let it go the long cycle. And that's per plant. So in Denver, you can have 3 vegetative, 3 flowering at a time. So if you use something like an autoflower, which you would learn about in the Grow program, you can actually do 2 cycles a Colorado sun season and still be within the laws. And if you have 2 adults in the home, you can actually, it's 6 plants per adult. So you can have up to 12, which means 6 at a time flowering or budding. So you can really kind of bulk up your yield. No more than that. If you have 4 adults living with you, you can't do, all 4 of them. It is the maximum of up to 2 adults. So up to 12 plants total. The nice part about growing your own is that you can personalize your selection. So whether it be seed, which has a ton of options, to clones, which are a little bit kind of limited in some aspects. Right here in Denver, we have some great resources. People outside of the Denver area may have to travel. I did find online from California, I didn't find it in here, but still legal, is that they'll ship you a clone, which is kind of cool. In addition, next week I am going to the NOCO Hemp Show down in Colorado Springs, and there I can purchase clones. So if you begin or sign up for the program, we can match you to what you're looking for. And if I can find you specific seeds or clones at the hemp show, and they're usually great pricing there, sometimes even free. I actually got a bunch of free seeds a couple years ago when I went. But the value of growing your own is you can match the plant to the conditions that you're looking for, and I can help you with that. And that's the thing, choosing the variety of the plant to your different needs, meaning, there are ones that make you more relaxed and one that are more energetic. There's even different scents, which are the terpenes in the plant that create those effects that you might be looking for. So there really is a ton of options versus just having access to what dispensary you go to. Now you have access to a whole bunch of other plants that you may not even know about, but it's great to know that that's out there, and that's the value of being able to grow your own. The other thing is that not most dispensaries are not organic or regenerative. You have to really dig for that. Here in Colorado, or Denver area, we at least have a couple dispensaries that are at least practicing organic practices. Because if you don't know, the cannabis plant is what they call bioaccumulator, which means that it absorbs everything that goes into your soil. So if you're a big commercial grower, what do you want? You want lots of plants, you want a big grow, you want to rotate that crop quick. And so they're putting out to us short cycled, pumped up plants. And so, what happens there is that all of that gets pulled up into the plant and then we're consuming it. So in cannabis specifically, it is extremely important to have organic plants, because if they're putting in harsh chemicals or pesticides to control pests, all these different things that they do to get it to pass their testing, may not be the practice that you want to consume for your cannabis. So this is a great way to control what's going into your plants. And then also, right, you're adding to the biodiversity. I just read a great article, I forget where it was. I want to say it was in Urban Life Wash Park magazine. But it was just a woman from CU who was a volunteer at the Denver Botanic Gardens, but she was really emphasizing that we need to just grow more in our yards, specifically in our gardens, because we're really adding to the biodiversity of our immediate environment. And but what better way to connect with nature and a community of growers? Because once you get into the grow community, oh boy, it's a whole other world and very fun, right? Good people. I always, if you want to get your hands dirty in dirt, you're my kind of person. And they're usually kind of laid back and just really looking for stewardship in all of this. So, getting connected with nature and finding community of like-minded people is definitely one of the added values and pillars of health. So I believe that growing cannabis is going to be good for your health. So you can do it, right? So a friend of mine said that, and I was like, can I use that? You can do it. So just to run this program, I'm asking people per household, right? So if it's 2 adults running the program at the same household, $100, that's minimal. I saw some programming out there that was $500. Now, definitely he was a master grower. Actually, I'm getting his book and we have connected. He's actually sending me some seeds, because all growers are not about competition. They're about getting more people to grow. So he's thrilled at what I'm doing in my little world. And if we can get more people to grow, all the better. So I'm just asking for a little bit. This is my first time of actually officially running the program. And so that's why I felt like just a little bit, $100 towards what I'm doing, the organization, the resources, just keeping us on the flow, and my little bit of experience, but enough that I feel like we're going to be successful. I know we'll be successful. So we're starting signups now, and we'll take that all the way till the end of May for starting seeds, because you do need some time for seed. But then if you do want to, you can go all the way till the end of June for starting a clone. And there's reasons or conversations around when you start and why you would use a seed over a clone. And through the program, we would work that through with you individually, because everybody has a little bit of different needs of what they're looking for. But we are going to grow in soil that you can grow out of soil, hydroponic, and even air growing. But we are trying, again, affordability, accessibility. So I'm writing this program for basic grow, minimum level of input to get some type of output, especially for starters. So we are fortunate in Colorado to use the outdoor sun cycle, and it grows quite well. In fact, there's debate back and forth about indoor versus outdoor, and there's pros and cons. But we certainly can use the outdoor sun cycle and grow our own just right in our own backyard. So guidance throughout March through November, and it is from seed all the way to smoke, I like to say. But there is a critical time. Drying and curing are kind of the critical window to make sure that we don't mess up the crop, so to speak, from mold or over drying. But the grow is pretty easy. The drying and curing stage is very critical, but will be supported through that whole time. So this program is a mix of online. So we will meet again, online like this on a Zoom call. In addition, I will be forwarding all of my materials that I've gathered and organized per where we're at in the stage. So I will be monthly, even bi-weekly. It depends, because in the beginning, there's a lot of information coming to you. And then during that vegetative to flowering stage, if there's a lot less, but in the beginning, there's a lot more support that needs to be monitored, right? Then once we get off and growing, it's exciting just to watch it. It's really just, let it grow. But it'll be a combination. We'll also have on-site meetups, and that very well may be at the More Canna Clubhouse. It could be out at somebody else's house if they offer that, and we can go and look at their plants. And I also have lined up a variety of different events related to growing, and I can we'll be sending out resources for other events that you might want to look into that's not directly related. And then we'll also meet up for certain, possibly a tour. I'm trying to find us an actual farm tour. We've been to a grow tour. So I want to try a different one, but I'm trying to find a farm one. So I'm confident I will. I already have my feelers out there. So I'm confident that we can make a little road trip for those that are in the program to go see an outdoor grow or a bigger grow, because it really does help you see things. When you can train your eye to look at the plant differently, that's when you really learn the most. So it's a combination of online, on-site, e-resources, and my e-program guide. So it's a combination of everything. Again, I'm trying to do a farm tour, but I'm also going to find a couple people, one or two. I already have one in the works. The second person would be later down in drying and curing, to come and speak to us, or to speak on a Zoom call, because that's really valuable to bring in an expert. But I want to remind them, don't get too much. We are basic grow, and that is my goal, is about beginner basic outside grow, to show people how easy it is. Because a lot of when I did this last year, I had a speaker come, and they spoke way over our needs and what we were doing, and it was all great information, but it was more than what we were doing. So I'll make sure that it's appropriate for us. And then, like I said, the harvest, dry, and curing is a bit of work. And that's why when you choose what you're growing and when you're going to start, you do have to map out when is it going to be harvest time, because harvest and then the weeks after for drying and curing are very important. And so my point about that is, don't book a vacation somewhere right during your drying time, because you do have to do things daily for like a 2-week period. So just an FYI when you start to consider this. So here's the timelines. Today we are March 22nd. We're just reviewing what's going to happen this year. I am going to the hemp show next week. So if you're signed up and we can connect, I can look to find seeds or clones for you. There are every variety is at this hemp show. It's quite exciting. If anybody still wants to go, it's down in Colorado Springs at the Broadmoor. If you don't want to go for all the, industry stuff, they do have great an exposition hall on Friday. And if you connect with me, I can see if I can get you a Friday exhibition hall pass for free. So reach out to me if you want. I'm at mo@morecannacare.com. So if you'd like to go down to that, I can most likely hook you up with a Friday ticket. So April starts. So if you are ready, that's when we are going to be starting those seeds up until the end of May for seeds. So that is, that's a whole process. So we select our seeds, and then when you're ready, we'll germinate them. And germination sounds scary, but elementary school kids can do it. It's a real simple process. You just have to be, like I said, around for these, like a short period of time, especially when you're germinating a seed, just to keep an eye on it for once it pops, you keep it moist, and once it pops, then you put it in the dirt. So you want to have it all set up, but we'll go all through that. But timing is a factor. So kind of looking at your growth cycle year to make sure that we're not hitting any critical times that you're away when your plant needs to be monitored or maintained. There also is a seed market in April, on April 8th. It's at Cultivate Hydroponics, and it's a public event, but there'll be a ton of seed vendors there. So if you're interested, you can sign up for that on Eventbrite. I'm going to go to it just out of curiosity, whether I need seeds or not. Maybe I will go just out of curiosity and to learn more and to talk with other growers. So if you're really getting into it, join me there. You do need a ticket, and it's free, but you do need to sign up because of just capacity. So again, we will keep on going. You can choose to do seeds all the way up until the end of May. Otherwise, then we are losing time for the outdoor sun cycle. You need at least 8 hours or more. So if you plant late, then the finishing, your budding, where, our beautiful flowers, you're not going to get your most yield. So it's recommended up until the end of May. But clones, so people have asked, well, what's a clone? Just so you know, a clone is basically a clipping of a seed mother. So a female mother plant can be clipped, and that's what they call clone. And then they take that clipping, kind of think of it if you like, propagate any other plant, you set it in water or these solutions, and then it'll start to grow. And so a lot of dispensaries sell these. Oh boy, they can go anywhere from, at the hemp show, I've got them for $5, but on average they're 25 to 35 for the lower, so to speak, plants, which that's what I grew last year, and it was totally great. Some places have sales, so anywhere from 25 to 35 is the average, but they can go all the way up into the hundreds for one seedling. So think about, like, at Home Depot, the tomato plant that you get, that is what they look like. So you can choose which ones you get. Now, finding clones, specifically when somebody is looking for CBD clones only, I haven't found them as easy to access. In regards to when you go into dispensaries, they only have THC clones for you. And so that the flower that is grown in dispensaries only or mostly only has THC in it, unless you find a specific strand that says it has CBD and THC in it, which is your preferred. But our dispensary flower only has THC in it. So I suggest, when I'm working with the clients, to purchase just CBD flower, purchase your THC flower, and then blend them up into your products, or into your smoke, so that you get the benefits of the whole plant, not just high THC. And a lot of people report much greater benefits when CBD is present with THC. So that's a little bit of information there. So these clones can be purchased, and they're a lot easier to start. So you basically take that clone, and you can nurture it for a little bit, depending on when you obtain your clone, just by the sun window, somewhere warm and sunny, until it's ready. We like to go outdoors at the end of May, at earliest after Mother's Day, up in through June. So like I said, you can start your clone all the way till the end of June and still have a viable product by the end of the season. Moving along throughout that season, vegetative growth, which just means the flower or the leaves, and we'll be monitoring for that. There is some trimming that should happen just to kind of open up the plant so it has room for your buds, and we'll talk about that through the program. But through that time frame, you should start to see your buds coming out, and they're beautiful little, just little bursts of flower that don't look like much. They just look like fuzzy little things in the beginning, and then they'll really start to grow and bud. So through the rest of the season, August, September, you'll be continuing to grow and monitor. And then September, depending on when you start, and we'll count this out. And all seeds and clones come with your they say gestation, or how many weeks out till budding. So you do know, or can find out from either the seed or from the clone, how many weeks out there that you should kind of consider harvesting. And some of that is by eye, but most of the time we just count out, and then it's based on your schedule of when you can cut that down, trim it, and then hang it. Drying is usually just an easy hang over a railing. I get uh coat hangers, or you can hang them on strings like clotheslines in a bathroom, or something like that. And then cure. So drying is just literally that. It's about a 2-week cycle that you just let them hang upside down and dry out naturally, and some things that we have to watch for. And then curing is a different stage. Curing is anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to be a little bit longer, and it all depends on how much moisture. And that's basically, you put it in a mason jar and you keep it in a dark, cool, dry place, and every day you shake it up and you aerate it every day. And that's the curing process that you can do on your own. It's easy. You just shake the mason jar, and you can actually learn a lot about the plant through that, because you learn about all of the gases that get released from this plant while it's curing. So I thought it was interesting. It smells like ammonia. So this is what plants look like. So you're like, whoa, what's that? So on the left right there, that is the organic dispensary that you can purchase clones, legal. I'm not supported by them or anything, but I should be. But they are organic and regenerative practices, meaning like regenerative soil and just really good products. So that's where I have suggested to get clones. There's lots of others. You are limited there in regards to the types that they have. So that's why we do look outside of this organization, but there are others. These are some of my healthy plants on the lower right. But also I have made some mistakes. So you can see at the top, that was 2 years ago, and it was quite tragic. I had gotten some great clones at the hemp show and brought them home, and they were a different genetic. They were CBG, which is a different than CBD, but they're a little bit harder to grow. They're not a beginner plant. And so that's something that you do want to consider, and we'll go through, is there's beginner strands, and then there's advanced. So I didn't know that. And there was some kind of something on them, some type of pest, and I basically oversprayed them. So things like that can happen. And it's sad, but a great learning experience. So I went on to grow healthy plants. Just started again. It was early enough that I just started again. And they were in my greenhouse. I do have a greenhouse in my yard. I have a little one, and then a larger one that was built, fortunately for me, by my husband, as a nice little gift. So protecting them in from different pests and legality is a variable. So is this legal? Absolutely yes. So fortunately, we are in a state that allows for home cultivation. As these new states come online, you'll be surprised. Home cultivation rights are not a given, which is, I believe, wrong, because if you want to grow your own tomato plants, you should be able to grow your own tomato plants, right? And the same goes for cannabis, especially as medicine. So fortunately, in the state of Colorado, we are allowed to cultivate. You do need to check each county. So if you're not in Denver County, and these laws are specifically for Denver County, then please double check on that website, cannabis.colorado.gov, to find out in your county if you are legally allowed to home cultivate. So check your local laws. And again, I said 3 to 3, 3 flowering, 3 vegetative, up to 2 growers per household. And then also in the laws, I want to highlight that if you do have children 18 years or younger, the laws are asking for having them be able to be enclosed and locked up. And so that kind of puts some people, concerns. I can tell you that I have found a place that nobody sees where my plants are because they're between two garages. But I do have them in a a greenhouse like structure that I'm able to lock off the area. Or if you don't have a place or you don't own your property, which is, I think, discriminatory, but we're getting there. You must be the homeowner or have permission from the homeowner. So we have somebody in the program that wants to grow, but he lives in actual in public housing, and especially there, they're not allowed to grow. And so he is finding somebody that owns their property. So ask a friend. If you don't own your property, or you're in an apartment, ask somebody that owns their property if they will grow, and then you can grow together. So just some ways to get around that. The other thing I wanted to identify to you is that if you are a grower or know growers, I signed up, and like I said, this is all legal, but I felt like this was a great way for me to add a layer of protection. And so what this is the Denver Caregiver Program is a registration program that you can register that you are growing, and that a medical patient can connect with you, and they sign up with you, and you can grow for them. And if that is the case, that somebody signs up for you, you can grow more plants. So you can grow your plants, and then you can actually grow more plants for them, up to 5 patients. But nobody has connected with me yet. But I just felt like it was a great way to add legal protection for myself. Not that I feel like I need it, but I just thought it was good practice. And I'm very curious about this program because I do think that more home growers, there's lots of them out there, can be growing for medical patients, especially those that can't afford dispensary pricing, because as you know, it's not covered by insurance. So if you're truly using this as one of your medical tools as medicine, which we're all using it as medicine, just whether it's how imperative it is for your condition. But I would love to see more home growers connect with patients, and we can really, really bring the plant to the people through this legal program. So check it out. That is on the CDPHE government website, and it's Medical Marijuana Registry Caregivers. Check it out. It's really interesting. So I signed up as an advisor since I am a certified cannabis educator. I just thought, hey, maybe somebody can find me there. And I felt like, hey, I would love to grow for somebody. So if I could grow more, I have the ability in my yard too. I have the room. I would love to grow for somebody. So I just wanted to mention that in regards to the program. That is not required of the program at all. I just wanted to highlight it because I think it's a fantastic thing that we really should be, louder about, I guess, in Denver. But they're more worried about all the dispensaries and all the taxation. So with this program, I can guarantee you you'll gain knowledge, right? We're going to go through, I have the full program, written out of all the different stages. So you'll get lots and lots and lots of materials and content and collaborations, and we'll have a whole heck of a lot of fun meeting other growers. But to guarantee you a yield, there's so many things and controls. I am very confident you're going to get to a yield. But of course, weather, pests, how much what you do to it, do you follow them or not, is really up to you. So of course, with this $100 that I ask, you will be guaranteed to be supported through, and you will get all these materials, but I can't guarantee you your yield, but I'm pretty confident you will. So hopefully you can still join us. That is not in person Willie Nelson right there. I wish it was. That was a cardboard stand up at an event a couple years ago, but it looks so real, right? It was really fun. So we always I love to post that picture because it kind of looks like I met Willie Nelson. I wish I did. So I was wondering if anybody has any questions, whether you want to unmute yourself or pop it in the chat. But I am here to, answer any questions for you. If you are interested, I forgot to put this in the program. But it's on my Facebook page, More Canna Care. So Facebook More Canna Care does have the actual link to sign up for the program, meaning like, you know, that you're paid me $100 and you're on the list, and we're going to get started in regards to working with you individually about choosing seeds or clones and your full program. So I don't have a direct link. I should have done that. Sorry, of how to sign up. Again, my email is mo@morecannacare.com. So we can connect that way too. Or again, like I said, it's on my events on Facebook of More Canna Care, has the link to actually sign up. Next time we meet is going to be for you know, we'll talk individually if you sign up, but we'll be meeting for that seed market. If anybody needs to go and get their seeds, I'll be there too. So does anybody have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and pause.